Well, hello everybody, one and all, and welcome back to another Ladies' Night here on Unpopular Review NXT edition. I apologize for not being on last week, was not feeling all that good, didn't have everything I needed to do this, but I am here. It is I, Sabrina Stella, Wrestling Doll, the unofficial camera woman, the one of many names, and reunited, and it feels so good to be back with Cactus Katie.
Hello, everybody. I'm so glad to be here for another Ladies' Night.
Yes, it is always nice to talk wrestling with another woman. Nothing wrong with talking with the guys, but I feel like sometimes some of that time is spent drooling over some of these women's gear, which not a problem, but sometimes you got to get your head out of your other head. Anyways, tonight was a very chaotic episode here on NXT, which Ava Rain was trying very hard to ensure that didn't happen. But when you try too hard to make something not happen, it happens.
Welcome to life.
As taught at a very early age, no matter how old you are.
Exactly.
But we get Ava Rain real quickly giving a pep talk to security and the referees, telling them to be focused and make sure that nothing goes wrong with this 5 tag team or 10-man turmoil match to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT Tag Team Championships with Chase U, Edris, and Malik, the Good Brothers of the OC, whatever you want to call them, Legado del Fantasma, and the New Catch Republic, which I don't know why when I was checking for the information of this, it said it was 6. I was like, where is there 6 teams? Because all I see is 5.
Yeah, I only counted 5.
It starts off with Edris and Malik versus the New Catch Republic. They have their good little back and forth. They keep going for a minute, some blockbusters here and there, spinebuster blockbuster, and they get pin, and Edris eats the pin from Tyler Bates with New Catch Republic eliminating them as well. And after that happens, we get Legado del Fantasma coming in with Humberto and Angel coming in. They're in control for a while. They clear out. Bake clears Carrillo with the Frankensteiner. Garza gets in the way. And Dunn comes into that to break it up with the triangle drop kick. And then Angel puts Tyler up on top for a position to get ready to throw them off. But Apollo Crews comes in for the distraction with Tyler Bate hitting the Tyler Driver 97 on Humberto for the victory. And then
there's a lot of distractions tonight, and you could see it coming.
Well, when you have 5 tag teams in there with some of them having problems with other people, not to mention that a couple of them are on the main roster with problems of their own with some of those other people, chaos will ensue.
Yeah.
So we have the Good Brothers coming in, and they go in to go back and forth. And before we know it, we get an airplane spin on Anderson, courtesy of Tyler. They go back and forth, and then they get eliminated by a simple inside cradle on Luke Gallows, which is not easy considering both members are both very, very giant.
Yes. Like you said, a simple cradle. And I saw that cradle coming. I was like, there is no way. And that was it.
And with Tyler and Pete Dunne going back and forth with 3 other teams, like exhausted, like you could see, like they were probably gonna like fall to the floor if they could. Chase U comes in,
yes,
and they get the control on Pete Dunne. He turns it around on them, beats and clubs them with the beats of the Borhan with the double team evaded, and Duke Hudson gets tagged in. He puts a one-arm powerbomb out in the corner, and it keeps going back and forth. And these two teams had pretty good chemistry against one another. But despite how long the New Catch Republic was going in, which I always hate every time they do these turmoil things or these gauntlet matches, that the ones that work so hard and are tired out of their minds get beat by the very last team, which is the exact case here with Chase U getting the win courtesy of Andre Chase doing a diving crossbody onto I believe Pete Dunne.
But speaking of Chase U, you see storylines coming with that.
Indeed. I mean, they got Ridge Holland in there, which, as far as I can throw him, and since everybody knows how tiny I am, I can't throw any of those people worth the lick, which means I wouldn't trust them even if you paid me. Even though they're getting paid essentially to trust them, which, no, I wouldn't. And what did you think of all the insanity that ensued tonight so far in there?
I felt like I was watching a 4-team AEW match. Like, it was just chaotic. Like you said, it was just crazy, and it was hard to follow, and NXT's cameras just can't follow it as much as everybody else. But I do like Chase U, and I thought that this was very interesting. It's certainly setting up for many storylines to come.
Oh, indeed. They definitely have become one of the more popular factions since starting up in the very beginning, which I wasn't a big Andre Chase fan myself. I just thought he was very annoying, and it was always in your face, and I always found it annoying. But as it went on, it grew on me. I especially enjoyed the swearing and the cursing that he would do in the segments that they would have with the classroom. And especially when it wasn't like bleeped out as much, I just found that very funny and refreshing. But we'll just see what happens when Duke and Andre have to deal with Axiom and Nathan Frazer for those tag team belts. I mean, they were champs once upon a time ago for like 8 seconds.
Well, I know you will see Axiom throughout this match, or throughout this whole night. He keeps popping up. I'm like, there he is again.
Well, he's like a ninja. You never see him coming until he pops in with a mask.
Yes, exactly.
But we get some quick footage from earlier. Roxanne throwing her weight around the room, and she's yelling at Carly Bright, who accuses her of having a lack of confidence, which is like, girl, you want to take your anger on something?
Hey, Z.
Go to the training room or the gym or whatever y'all have in that performance center and take it out on a punching bag or something. They'll just go hitting people or yelling at them randomly. I mean, girl, we know you don't got some super serious competition for that belt right now, but seriously, come on. Take it out on something else that doesn't actually have feelings so you can beat it up as much as you want and not get any trouble for it and not get fined by Ava Raine.
Right? I mean, Ava, she does not want drama tonight, is what she thought she was going to have.
I mean, also especially given the news that we got tonight, she really doesn't want no drama. Our condolences and everything goes to the Samoan family for Sika of the Wild Samoans unfortunately did pass today, a.k.a., as Charmaine says, Roman Reigns' father. So even though I'm not personally a big fan of Roman myself, I would never say anything disrespectful while somebody is grieving. So I wish everybody in their family I will pray that they are all okay, that they're not super depressed or anything happening to them despite all this, but that the Samoan family will remain strong with this happening. That don't think of it as just a negative past and think of it as another step towards a brighter future, so to speak.
And strengths in other ways. Yes.
Even if there is no strength in numbers, there is strength in other ways, like you say.
Yes. So, Z.
Listen, I can be nice to Roman because of his father's passing. That does not mean I acknowledge him. And even if I say it now, that does not mean it. I will only
Got
root
you.
for him if he goes against somebody I do not like at all. Well, George is asking, how many title changes will we see next Sunday? And as Ron would call him, Good Chris says that all champions are going to retain a Heatwave. Well, we'll see. Well, I mean, George
They're
did
asking for it.
Well, I mean, once upon a time ago, George did say that Julia would come and make her debut at Heatwave and take the belt off of Roxanne. Well, she's been hurt and such, so she's not going to be healed up in time for that. So we'll have to wait until she's recovered to come into NXT and officially make her mark, so to speak.
Something to look forward to.
But after the commercial break, we get Dante telling Nathan Frazer that he doesn't want to impose on the tag team or anything, but if he needs a corner man for the Heritage Cup match, since that's what he has tonight, that he has his back. Since Axiom was nowhere to be seen, Nathan does admit he hasn't spoken to him in a few days, and boop, first pop-up of the night, he comes in and says that he's been thinking on it. He's worried that the tag team belts are being second, third, fourth, fifth, not first priority for Nathan Frazer, but that he believes in his friend and that he wants to be his second tonight.
Yes.
The only question is, does that mean that those belts are getting taken off of those boys at Heatwave?
Absolutely. That's where I'm going with. They are not connected. They are not on the same page. There is going to be a mess up.
Yeah, most definitely. And especially with Chasing getting built up back to being one of the top factions and tag teams and such, they'll definitely have those belts and hopefully for much longer.
Yes. Yep. I mean, you see it later in the night. I'm sure we'll probably get to this, but they were talking in the locker room and they weren't even able to respect each other's wishes there because Frazer was like, I got other priorities. I got to move on.
This is what happens when you do makeshift tag teams with people who might have worked together somewhere else, but don't have a connecting story in where they're working currently. And then you can already tell when something's going to happen, when the split's going to happen.
Yep.
And speaking of people that want to make things happen for themselves, we get Ethan Page coming in, getting on the mic. He's talking about Heatwave and how Javon Evans has the title shot from winning the Battle Royal. But the problem is that he won a Battle Royal that technically Ethan Page was never eliminated from. And then the same night, he pinned Javon in the middle of the ring. So if you ask him, which he would tell you a million one times, which I wouldn't mind listening to it. The match should be scrapped. He should get another title shot.
But he'll get another title shot. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Ethan Page is a star. He's finally getting utilized in the right way and not just being put onto Ring of Honor to be on a few storylines for a few months and then to not be used at all to the point where he wants to get out of his contract for months in advance, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, he says he's going to keep it professional. He invites Ava Raine to come out to change the main event for Heatwave. She comes in. He says that he admits that she admits as much as she doesn't want to. He has a point. He did pin Javon Evans in the ring, but Shawn Spears comes in and interrupts. He apologizes for the interruption. He doesn't want Ava making rash decisions and that he doesn't have a problem with Ethan, but he pinned Javon first, with Ethan cutting him off, saying that he saw Javon toss you over the top rope. And Shawn says that Paige couldn't have eliminated him and that tonight he was going to pin Trick Williams and make Ava's decision a whole lot easier. With Trick Williams coming in, and he tells Spears to, and I quote, sit his goofy ass down. And he tells Ava it doesn't matter who he fights at Heatwave, whether it's that bum Ethan Page, the young OG, or both of them, because Toronto will be chanting, whoop that Trick. But Shawn Spears attacks first, and Ethan Page joins in to put the boots onto Trick. And Javon Evans makes the save. and him and Trick clear at that ring as security comes in.
There's a lot of security tonight involvement. Ava.
Well, like it says on the title for tonight's episode, Chaos Ensues. So that's why they needed all that security, especially with all these people going after these titles, wanting to be stuck on them like white on rice.
Right. They were going at it for sure.
At this point, I feel like Ava should just make it a fatal four-way because I feel like that's what's going to build up to.
Wow. All right.
The only question is, who should eat the pin? Shawn Spears. Anyways, moving on from all that. Real quickly, New Catch Republic run into Hang and Take backstage. They challenge him to a match next week to get some experience against a fantastic tag team, which Tyler accepts. And after the commercial break, which Wes Lee was making his entrance to the ring, Stevie Turner is chatting with Robert Stone outside of Ava Rain's office. And they're talking about how they helped Ava Rain out and how neither of them are going nowhere and how they're clearly doing a better job assisting her in generally managing NXT.
And this was interesting because it really kind of put Ava under the bus.
Well, of course it puts her under the bus. It looks like she can't control anything by her damn self, so she needs a former manager in Robert Stone and someone who tried to make a gimmick out of being a gamer in the ring be another manager. At this point, they're fighting to be the assistants.
Right. That's exactly what it sounded like. And I'm like, Ava, find your bootstraps, put them on, and kill
and give a rock bottom to both of them.
Exactly.
Give a rock bottom to Robert Stone, and then pick up Stevie Turner, and then drop her on top of Robert Stone.
There you go.
That was it that we can write a better idea for some of this nonsense that's happening back there better than the writers over there can.
I think we could. I think that should be another job title of ours.
It should be at this point. My mother does say I should get a job involving wrestling, but it's hard to find one that'll pay you properly. But after that insanity of making Ava Rain look bad, we get somebody else looking bad, and his name was Joe Coffey going up against Wes Lee. And everybody knows how much I don't like Joe Coffey because him and the rest of the Gallus are all boring. Even in the ring, because even though Gallus is fine in the ring, at least if I were watching, like, say, the OC can keep me awake. Gallus just puts me to sleep, no matter what they're doing. Wes Lee keeps me awake because I enjoy watching him in that ring, and yes, he's eye candy, and I got to see him in person and take a picture with him and not faint down with excitement. At an indie show in Orlando, he was there to watch the show, and Andre Chase was actually on the other side.
Okay.
I couldn't talk to him because he had already left.
But
I saw him there, so it counts still.
Absolutely. Check the box. Bingo card.
Oh, I checked that bingo card, and that's why my profile picture on my Instagram is still me with Wes Lee.
Yes. Well, Wes Lee brought it tonight.
As he always does.
Yes.
Even though some of the people in our group, in our lovely Unpopular Review family, like to dog on him just because he's apparently has no charisma, or the people don't like him, or he doesn't get a pop, even though every single time he's come back, he gets a pop.
I was going to say, he had a pretty good pop tonight.
The people of the NXT universe like him.
Yes, they do.
All I'm just waiting for at this point is for Trey Miguel of the Rascals to come in at some point to come and help him.
I mean, he reminds me of a lot of Prince Nana and Strickland on AEW.
Okay.
I don't know how you feel about that, but
it's not a bad comparison. Before they turn into the 2.0, I did watch a lot of Swerve on the
I love Swerve
brand.
Yeah, Swerve is awesome. I talking AEW a little bit, but I hope to see him around for a while.
Oh, we most definitely will. But we do get this match. Joe Coffey has the control from the beginning.
They've called this a slugfest, is what they quoted this match as.
I mean, it's a Joe Coffey match. Every match with him will be a slugfest.
Fair.
But, I mean, it's David and Goliath, and Wes Lee pulled through with the cardiac kick.
Yes, he did.
So Femi comes out, and he tells Wes Lee that he gets his title match for the first and final time. So basically saying, if you lose, you can't challenge me for the title ever again.
Made and that he will very
see
clear.
Him at Heatwave.
Yes. And there was a lot of promotion for Heatwave, considering it's a week from Sunday. We still have a whole nother NXT to go through. So as much as they've talked about
Money in the Bank.
Yeah. As much as they've talked about it this episode, I'm shocked. I mean, they were shoving it down your throat.
Well, I mean, with how popular the brand is growing and how some of their bright stars have been called up to the main roster, I'm not surprised that they're doing that.
That's true.
But after all that fun, we get the D'Angelo family being interviewed backstage. Tony D is confident of retaining. He knows Nathan is dangerous and fast, but Stax and Luca give him a game plan, and he's going to see if it works. That will definitely be an interesting match, I will say. I am a fan of both of them, so I did look forward to see how this one was going to go.
It was crazy moves. It was entertaining. It was a great match.
Most definitely. How do you feel about the Heritage Cup, like, overall as like a whole match thing, like the rules that they have for it? Because Ron always watches it and he says he can never get into it because he can never fully understand the rules of it.
I don't understand the rules of it. I just know that Joey D'Angelo, as much as I really did enjoy watching him in the past, he just was kind of blah for me tonight. I was kind of really going for, who'd he go against? Frazer. Yeah. I think it's because they were pulling him throughout the whole episode and you wanted to see where it went. So it was a long match. Fair. Yeah, it was a long match. Interesting match. And it's always good to see, the Dom is what they kept referring to him as.
He is the Don of NXT. He is the Don of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Thick Sopranos, Godfather, Scarface style, which some people will be making comments about me being like, aren't you too young to know all those references? Hello, they do that stuff on TV all the time and in movies.
Yeah. Well, Chris said Heatwave is next Sunday, and I believe they kept saying it was a week from Sunday. Do you know?
Well, when in doubt, double check when Heatwave will be.
May need clarification on that.
No, it's on the 7th.
Yes! Oh, God, I love it. 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 I'm here. I joined an NXT episode.
Whoa.
You're actually happy to join NXT?
No,
Where's your therapist?
Hey. So, your Heatwave is right before
Money in the Bank.
Yeah. So, well, no, actually, it's right after.
Yes, because it's a week from Sunday. Sunday, this coming up is Money in the Bank first, right?
This week coming up is Forbidden Door.
Oh, yeah. I should know that.
You should know that, Miss AEW. Matter of fact, you and one of your crew have to do a. Well, actually, it doesn't have to be you and one of the crew. I could join. It has to be a prediction show for Forbidden Door.
Well, we'll just have to
Whoever
see.
can pronounce the names.
Well, that wouldn't be me. No. I am not good at that. So I'm pretty sure your only option is Dan.
Pretty sure it is only Dan. But hey, I want to talk about some NXT.
Yes.
We're talking about the Heritage Cup match right now.
No.
Say it again.
Mad Dog Kelly says, hey, ladies, because Chris isn't here. NXT was great tonight.
Yes. Hi, Mad Dog. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow on AEW. But no, NXT was quite interesting. I mean, where we stopped off was the Frazer Tony D'Angelo match when EC decided to grace us in his presence. So, what do you think? Did you watch that match?
No.
Okay, good to know. But the
I'm
Heritage
just happy
Cup,
he's always honest when he does and does not watch
Absolutely.
NXT.
that's okay.
I was at work. I didn't have the chance to watch NXT. I just wanted to come and say hi. And I haven't
Well, we
been on an
appreciate
NXT
you
episode
coming
in a
in,
while.
EC.
Don't do that.
Even if
Don't
I
try to
do,
get rid of me
no, I'm about to say that even if I do make smart ass comments at you,
all the time.
you know it's all in good fun, and you know I enjoy having you around, even if I say that I don't.
You know what woman wouldn't enjoy having me around?
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
See, that's my point.
I was going to say, I feel like that's what the Unpopular Review channel has really come to be. Just everybody loving and hating on each other all day long.
That's about right.
Yes. Pretty much. And if you ever need a midday wake up of it, certainly hang out with the Welcome to the Shit Show AEW show.
Or you can always just watch this one go back and forth with Steven on all things the main roster.
I'm so glad you said that because I got a clip for you.
All right.
Oh,
I'll
goody.
be right back. Yeah, I know, right? Doesn't Lyra Valkyria do something like
Spider-Man just crawling up on the side of a building?
She does something. There you go. That should do Ricochet. I feel like she can get more over than Ricochet. I truly do.
Yeah? I don't know, man.
Her
Her song is over.
Sometimes it starts with the song and then it goes into your wrestling ability.
Like
right?
Swerve.
Like Swerve. Because Swerve was not doing anything until everybody really started paying attention to his song. And then people started paying attention to his song. And then from his song, he was able to do everything else. The same thing with Jey Uso. I think Lyra Valkyria has a song, but she needs to change, one, her outfit, and two, her pose. That pose is stupid.
What's that pose again?
She looks like the cat on the back of a window shield. You know, help me. Like,
Show me what does Lyra Valkyria do again? And what does Randy Orton do? Aren't they the same thing?
No, it's not. One's cool.
Oh, one's cool.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
No, it really isn't.
I like both the ladies, him not so much. Well, you know what? If you didn't go around trying to act like you have my name, you might like me better. Let's see. Hi there. I did enjoy Sonic birthday party last Sunday night. It was good. What are you about to say, Barb?
No, I was about to say that we also have a quick little thing with Javon. He's saying he'll be in Trick's corner tonight. Trick wants him to focus on his title match and admit that he gets nervous about people saying he has his back these days. So he'd rather go at it alone. And then we got Roxanne making her entrance for her match against Carmen Petrovic, with Lola making her entrance to join the commentary team for it, which was basically just a squash match to show that Roxanne will stand tall at Heatwave is the message she's trying to say to Lola, even though she attacks Roxanne after the match and leaves her lying down on the ground.
This match drove me crazy because you had Lola on the at the booth just talking shit the whole time. It was a distraction moment for Roxanne where you saw her get taken. And then you saw what is her name?
Carmen Petrovic.
You saw her. Literally, Roxanne is sitting there on her shoulders. All she had to do was support her to get the near fall, and she walked right past her. I'm like, you guys couldn't fake this a little bit? I mean, at that point, I knew Roxanne was going to win. Yeah.
Well, even if you can't, they always say fake it till you make it, but I don't think she wanted to fake it that night. She wanted to do that for Lola at Heatwave because she wants to, as a Mexican Latina woman, take down that Cuban Latina woman down to the ground.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. Lola Vice is on commentary?
Yes.
It sucked, right? Because I feel like if she's not able to twerk, then she's not able to do anything. She can't
spoke,
twerk. No.
Yeah, she spoke mostly in Spanish, so I personally couldn't understand her.
Were you watching on Telemundo?
What?
Were you watching on Telemundo?
It felt like it with Lola making commentary in Spanish, probably so that Booker T and Vic wouldn't be able to understand what she was saying.
Right.
Ah, shucky ducky quack quack.
Mm-hmm.
The penitentiary loves Lola Vice. The penitentiary loves everybody. See, the reason why you love every single woman is because you're in a penitentiary. We all know how men get when they're behind bars that long. Okay. Okay. Cool. Now, that being said, I don't know Lola Vice on commentaries. I like Lola Vice's look. Her wrestling abilities, not so much. She still needs practice. Her match with Shayna Baszler at the last PLE was awful.
Yeah,
awful.
It was boring. Slightly more entertaining
with her.
It was slightly more entertaining than Shayna versus Ronda at SummerSlam with the MMA rules.
Oh, that was
even
terrible.
Though they didn't explain anything.
That was terrible too. And
both matches were basically a bathroom break.
I like Roxanne Perez too, Chris. Now you're making good comments. Keep it coming.
Yes. I think Roxanne versus Lola, Roxanne's going to have an upper hand.
He's going to have a field day with that girl.
Yeah.
Wrestling, though, we're all getting together for AEW Forbidden Dorks watch along party. You joining? You coming in? You coming out?
What?
We're going over Sunday, right?
We're going over the man's the man's apartment to watch along with him and his mom. You in?
I might have plans that day, so.
Oh, you always make plans when it comes to hanging out with UPR. All right.
We were already talking about making plans before the show started for SummerSlam, didn't we?
That's in Cleveland.
I know, but it's also Dan's birthday, so.
Yeah, but he's not going to Cleveland, so his birthday is.
No. Are you going to Cleveland?
Of course, I'm going to Cleveland. I always go to the 4 pay-per-views. The big 4.
Right, well, I'll be in Orlando.
And I'm going, here's the news flash. Here's my surprise, some of y'all, especially this one, as she likes to say, up here. I will be in Chicago for All Out.
Wow.
And the last time I saw that was 2 years ago, and I wanted to go to bed right after it was over because it was so long. But you have a nice time. Yeah,
I'm just going to party. Actually, I loved Lola before WWE when she was fighting in Bellator under her real name, Valerie Loretta. It has nothing to do about her look. She's got it. Oh,
she may have got it in an MMA background and MMA fighting, but she still needs to work on the wrestling side of it.
I completely agree with Wrestling Doll, and if she has it, I suggest she sees the doctor quickly because it might be curable. I am waiting for Gaia to make her debut, whatever, and take the NXT Women's Championship from Roxanne Perez. Well, you keep waiting,
You're going to have to keep waiting for a minute. She's injured right now.
What's so good about Cleveland?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, too. Hello.
I'm definitely trying to go to Indy, though. Indy has just signed a deal with WWE to host a SummerSlam, a WrestleMania, and a Royal Rumble. Starting with Royal Rumble, which is next year. I'll be in Indy for Royal Rumble. Can't speak on the other things, but I have been to 3 SummerSlams in a row. 4 of the last 5 live SummerSlams in a row, so I'm interested in going. I love SummerSlam. Even though last year Detroit wasn't as good, but that was also because Detroit is not a good city.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, I just say it's dangerous. And speaking of things that are dangerous, we get the metaphor backstage. Noam Dar informs us that his tendon got ripped right off the bone
via phone interview.
Who is this?
He's going to be out for a while. Noam Dar.
Yeah. Oh man, that sucks. I was hoping you said Wes Lee. All right.
No. Wes Lee
is going to be fighting Femi at Heatwave.
Yeah, I know, and then he's never going to be able to challenge for that North American Championship again because I feel like he's been challenging it since NXT was FCW. Like, let it go already.
He had him and his former partner were going for those tag belts first, but that's besides the point.
But anyway, who did Wes Lee lose the championship to? Do you know? Trivia question. Cactus Katie, do you know who Wes Lee lost the North American Championship to?
I do not.
Okay. Wrestling Doll, Sabrina.
Dominic.
Yes. And you know why she lost it to Dominic?
Dominic, really?
Because Dirty Dom is the greatest NXT North American champion of all time.
Says all the dads in this group chat because they love kissing Dominic Mysterio's ass. Every single one of them.
Wow.
The only person now that's trying to get them first in line is Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
You only live once, YOLO.
Well, I mean, there are some lines, Chris.
There's never any lines of love.
Anyway, we're now getting deeper into Oro's story. He says it's not about getting back at Ethan Page.
That's
it's
an
about
interesting
avenging
way.
Noam.
That's an interesting way to reference it. We're now getting deeper into Aura's story. I so many jokes ran through my head when you said that. Could you say that again? That was interesting.
No,
okay.
I'm not doing it.
You're not giving him the bridge?
Listen, I gave him the bridge for a little bit and then I burned it. So anyway, he's gonna avenge Noam Dar.
Every other woman in my life.
And Noam says that's why he's his main man. And then Oro
You
tells
stop
us,
Bailey. Keep going. I'm just
Oro
reading
tells
up.
us the story of his dad almost dying in a car accident, which 60% of his father's body got burned, which meant he and his brothers had to move to Switzerland, where he got placed in foster care for a while. And it was tough being so far from home, not feeling like he fit in, and never felt like he fit in until he met the Metaphor, and that he won't rest until Ethan pays for what he did to his guy. With Noam saying that was beautiful, and to thank him for sharing that story.
No one cares about Ethan Page. But do you know what's so special about the Metaphor? This is a trivia question for Cactus Katie. Do you know what's so special about the Metaphor? I have to do this because my Uber's about to be here and I'm about to go drink. But the best thing about the Metaphor,
there it is. And this is why
the hottest woman in
you saw her.
NXT is Jakara Jackson, or I like to refer to as the next ex Mrs. Harris. She is drop dead gorgeous.
Because he likes the women, but apparently he can't keep one.
The day that she says I do is going to be just as sweet as the day she says I want a divorce. I can't wait.
And how many times have we been through this, Chris?
Oh, let's see.
Too many to count.
Yeah. They burn bridges, apparently.
Oh.
Well, that bridge hasn't been built yet.
Oh. No, we saw her being sympathetic, though. Holding the camera. She was on there tonight.
Well, if she's not in front of the camera, then this one down here is not happy.
She should be on the entire episode. If she was on, they would beat AEW every single week. Not that it's hard to do anymore.
What? Oh, my. Well,
so anyways, we get the Good Brothers beating up Out the Mud backstage with Mia Yim rolling up to attack Jada Parker after what had happened last week, essentially, costing her title shot against Kelani Jordan. After that, Ava Rain dispatched the referee to check on Out the Mud, gave Carly Bright a match for next week, and then Lola delivers Ava the women's title belt and tells her to tell Roxanne that she wants a title match at Heatwave. Well, that's one way to get what you want.
She laid it right there on the desk and didn't really give her a choice.
Kind of reminds me of when Cora Jade stole all the belts away from Toxic Attraction when they were all still together and champions to torture them, essentially.
You know what? Jada is a little overrated, but whatever. I gotta go, ladies. It is lovely talking to you all about Jakara Jackson or Jakara Harris. And I hope you two have a lovely night.
Well, thank you for coming by and saying hi.
I'll be in touch about AEW Forbidden Dark, and Sabrina, we have to talk
Forbidden Door.
We have to talk about Heatwave. See ya.
Bye. Have fun.
If you had to pick the next 4 hours women now, who would it be? Whatever teacher's going to teach you how to ask a proper question. That sentence makes no sense.
He means horsewoman, and you know that.
Oh. Jakara Jackson, Jade Cargill, Jada Parker, and Liv Morgan. Holly.
I love how he picked 3 of the 4 of those 4 horsewomen to be black.
That's all right.
But if I had to pick my 4 horsewomen, so to speak, mine would be... Oops, sorry. I accidentally took off the question. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and let me see.
See, I know faces, but I'm hard with names. And so you're going to have to help me with mine.
And my fourth would be Asuka.
Ooh. There you go. All right. I would pick, there's a girl on NXT. She's a Caucasian woman, brown hair. We didn't see her tonight. She is not a face. She's a
heel? Are you sure we didn't
heel.
see her tonight? Are you talking about Fallon Henley, who's all cowgirl?
Yeah. Yes. Was she on there tonight?
Well, she had a brief thing backstage with a couple other heels, which we will talk about.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, for sure. I'm going right here with Chris. Fallon Henley for sure. Cora Jade. Oh, absolutely.
Technically we can't count Bailey since she's already part of the 4 Horsewomen. So,
okay. All right. But we're crossing lines of all wrestling, right?
we can.
Okay.
I mean, if that were the case, I'd probably actually would replace Io Sky with Athena, Ember Moon.
There you go. And I would pick Monet. And I really like Willow. I mean, I don't know how much she can actually go.
Oh, Willow can go.
Yeah,
you just have to look for the match she had with Mercedes for that Japan title belt.
He carried that. Yeah, I really like it. So I think I would go with those guys. I'm sure there's probably more that I'm missing but those would be my pick for right now.
Okay. Z says Fallon has something special. Reminds me of Mickie James. I can see that a bit. I'm just happy she didn't do the whole psychotic crazy fan thing like Mickie James did to get her foot in the door. She doesn't need to do it. Tatum Pax is already doing that for us.
Right.
That's a good choice. I do like me some Sky Blue, and I got to see her wrestle in person. It was one of the best days of my life.
Aww. Yeah, I'm going to AEW in Greenville, South Carolina, in July. And then, of course, after I bought my tickets, they put out an AEW in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, which is like 2 hours from my home. And I'm like, well, no, like 45 minutes from my home, when Greenville is 2 hours. But it's a better weekend for me. So I'm going to go to Greenville and I'm going to experience ringside. It'll be fun.
It always is a fun time. I did go to one AEW taping, the infamous one where Sam Guevara calls Dan Lambert a fat face dipshit. Oh. And went to one AEW dark taping, which was fun.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Dan and I, my co-host on AEW Dynamite Review on our channel, we said if AEW ever goes to Dublin, we're gonna be there.
That should be fun.
Yes, Dublin is an amazing city, and it'll be great. Scotland was good for WWE, the Clash of the Castle, and I am sure if they were anything like Dublin, they were partying all night long. So
they probably were. And speaking of people who are going to be partying all night after this match, we had Tavon Heights, my apologies, taking out the resident punching bag in the No Quarter Catch crew and Damon Kemp, who is also very boring in promos, but can actually wrestle better than his brother.
Because both of them are real wrestlers.
Yes, but Tavon, this was basically a squash match because yet again, Damon Kemp got beat up. I mean, somebody apparently has to be the punching bag, and it has to be Damon Kemp. Kelani Jordan gets interviewed backstage, says beating Michin was a confidence booster, and she wants to be a drama-free champion, defending against deserving challengers and moving on to the next. With Jada Parker running in and demanding promo time, running Mia Yim down for blindsiding her and challenging her to a street fight next week, which I did say at one point or another that they were going to have a street fight. With Arianna Grace making her entrance for her number 1 contenders match against Ruca, because she did complain that Ruca, that she was stronger than her and that she should have the title shot.
Well, she was aggressive about it.
She was aggressive in the indies when she wrestled too, so I saw a bit of that coming out.
Yeah, for sure.
So Roxanne stormed into Ava's office to reclaim her title belt, accuse her of orchestrating some sort of scheme. Ava puts her in her place and tells her that you're going to be defending your title at Heatwave against Lola. So you can't run away because you say you are champion of the now and that you'll defend.
Like it or not.
Then, quick commercial, Kelani and Ruca are walking backstage. They say they'll see each other at Heatwave. And then we get JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Fallon Henley complaining about Soul getting the opportunity that they deserve. And JC says she wants to do something about it. Now, I did call around the time when Kelani won that belt that Fallon Henley was going to complain that essentially, oh, I helped you out when nobody would help you. I was your friend. I was looking out for you. I was doing everything for you, blah, 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 blah. I should have a title shot, et cetera, et cetera. Now she's complaining about it, but even though JC says she's going to do something about it, because if this turns into a little bad girls club, mean girls thing going on, Fallon's going to turn into a lackey once again, even though she's trying to be I'm not going to help nobody no more kind of thing.
Ooh. Yeah, so I must have missed this little promo here, which is very sad because, like I said, I like Henley. But I'll be surprised.
Well, I mean, it's JC Jane. She is one of the sneakiest snakes in there, and I can say that freely on camera because Ron is not here to defend her, even though she is wrong in the things that she has done. But we get Brinley telling Edris and Malik how proud she is. Izzy Dame comes in because, again, Kiana James is gone, and her reason for being relevant and entertaining is not in NXT anymore, so she has to come up and pick fights with some people. She says that she's not getting them anywhere, and Tatum Paxley appears in the background at the glass, and Izzy is slapping the glass to make her go away like if she were a goldfish in a fish tank.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Trying to look this up.
We got Jermaine. What up, Jermaine? Yeah. He asked if Gigi's still wrestling. Yes, she is. Unfortunately, she is injured, so she is out of action for a while.
Right.
But she's very active on her Instagram with everything, so you can always follow her there and see what she's doing with her and her lovely fiance and Zachary Wentz.
Yep, and
we get to the locker room.
Go ahead. I was going to say her Instagram handle is ggdoolin_WWE if you want to follow her.
Short and simple to the point. I posted myself cosplaying her at MegaCon 2023. She reposted it and loved it, and I was very happy.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. So we get to the locker room. Axiom is telling Nathan how close he got and that there's nothing to be ashamed of and that he wants to run some tape for their title match. But Frazer says that he has a speed match tomorrow and that he'll do it later. Those two are losing those belts at Heatwave.
Oh, for sure. The lack of connection,
communication,
the lack of,
working together, training, looking over tapes and such, which when you're a wrestler, whether you're a professional or working the independent scene, it is always important to watch back your work and see the mistakes that you've made and what you can do to improve and see spots that you've done that you liked and could try to recreate it again.
That works for anything.
Or for some people that are in the independent scene, cut bits of it for clips and put it up on your social media. Happens to me all the time. Listen, shameless plug. Go to my YouTube channel, The Unofficial Camera Woman, where I record matches throughout Central Florida and put them up online. Sometimes you see current/former AEW or WWE stars on there as well.
Ooh. Yes. Well,
Jermaine says he had to say yeet for Jey Uso. And that is the only time I will ever say that word because I can't chant it because it sounds weird coming from me.
Well, after the locker room, we have a match. Did we talk about? We didn't talk about Andre.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
On Adrian. No.
Arianna Grace.
Arianna Grace
and Ruca. Battle head to head for
this match.
Yes. For the #1 contendership for the NXT Women's North American Championship, which, as people know from when talking about it, we didn't do a prediction, but we did talk about it a few days before, I did say that Ruca was my number 1 to be the champion to hold that belt, which I can't say that I didn't pick Kelani as my top one to win, but I'm happy that she didn't lose again after the first time she was on a pay-per-view. But so Ruca and Arianna Grace had some good chemistry. This match was very satisfying to watch, just like watching the satisfying finish that Ruca has in the Soul Snatcher to become the number 1 contender for the
she did the
NXT North
surfboard.
Championship. Well, I mean, she is a surfer, so she's got to do that surfboard.
Yeah, she had some great moves tonight. Untraditional, but great moves.
I mean, she was number 1 in that little training thing they had to determine who was going to be in that ladder match for no reason.
There you go.
And when we did our draft for the brands, and I was NXT, and I picked her as my overall draft pick for number 1, I did get a look from the executive consultant like I was crazy, but she's still popping even if she's not champion.
Yeah, she for sure made a pop tonight, though. And then here comes Jordan to hold hands and say, we're doing this, as they prepare for the Heatwave.
Heatwave is definitely going to be exciting. And now we get to the final main event, the insanity of insanity for the night. But before we do that, this one did ask, what do we think of Timeless Toni Storm? I think she is a fun character, and I think it's the happiest that Toni has been since coming to the States to wrestle. Another example of a prime person that WWE had, and because they stuck her to one box and couldn't see that she could do more, it was lost opportunity.
Well,
she would be an honorable mention from my horsewoman.
There you go. Toni Storm is his girl. So anytime we get to review her, he is super excited. And then we have Thunder Rosa, which is Vinny's girl, on there. And you don't see her on Dynamite. You see her on Collision a lot and Rampage. But Toni Storm holds Dynamite pretty well, especially Mariah May.
And the story with her, Mariah and Mina.
Yes, that's a lot going on right now with Toni Storm, for sure. So she did great at, what was that big, Double or Nothing against Sandra Diaz, I think it was.
Serena Deeb?
Yeah. So she's going to be around for a while.
Oh, indeed she will. But we had this insane match to deal with Ethan Page being on commentary this time. Because, Lola, had to stick their nose in.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I do like both of them, although I love him more than hers, since I've been familiar with his work longer than her work.
Fair.
But Shawn Spears and Javon, from the little bits they've worked together in matches and promos before, they have some very good chemistry. And it was a fun match watching them go back and forth. And we did get Oro appearing to attack Ethan Page to get pulled apart. And I did enjoy this match. I was surprised to see that Shawn Spears did pick up the win with the C4 onto Javon Williams after he dives, grabs the desk panel and hits Javon with it, with Spears capitalizing to get the win on to Javon.
They were just helping up with the cleanup crew. You know, they just took out the commentary booth completely. So it was very much a main event. And I was having some technical difficulties, so I didn't get to watch too much of this. But
the match was very good. It was a lot of good back and forth, so it was definitely one to watch. After that happens, NA was off as Robert Stone and Stevie Turner lay out the problem that the general manager faces in making a title match for Heatwave, with 3 people vying for that spot. And she says that everyone makes compelling cases, and so she's going to do what I said earlier on in the show. She's making it a fatal 4-way. All Ego Ethan Page, the chairman Shawn Spears, the OG Javon Evans, and Trick Willie for the NXT Championship for Heatwave.
Heatwave is gonna be some fire. It's gonna be great.
We'll just have to see which one's the better show at the weekend, Money in the Bank or Heatwave. Which I already know who I want my Miss Money in the Bank, even though all the women haven't been selected based on their qualifying matches yet.
Ooh. See, I get the point of Money in the Bank. I don't really like how they used Money in the Bank at WrestleMania.
The problem is with a good portion of people is that they cash in too soon.
They do. And you knew that
what
was
I want, and I'm going to say it now, and if we do predictions for it, I will so very happily join. I want Chelsea Green to win because here's the thing. As some people have said on this show, Money in the Bank for the briefcase, it's to help the person who wins. Right. Some of these people that are going to be in it don't really need the briefcase, but with Chelsea, if you give her anything, you give her an inch, she will take a mile. She had a great, fantastic match for SmackDown for that opportunity without any interference with help from Piper whatsoever.
Yes.
I mean, don't forget, this is the same woman who went up against Penta Zero Miedo before. This woman has gone up against a lot of people, men, women. She's not afraid of fights.
No.
A lot of people just don't see that because they see her as the crazy Karen character that she puts out because that's what they want from her. But I want to see her win Money in the Bank and hold the briefcase first for longer than a few hours and for longer than Io Sky did, which was 35 days. Wow. It doesn't have to be as long as Carmella's 287 days, but at least a long time span where she can make it seem like she's going to cash in at certain times, but doesn't. I would love for that to happen. It just depends on who else is going to be in it to see who else could possibly win. Yeah, I want to see her.
Well, we will just have to stay tuned and see what actually happens.
The only other person I could think of that would benefit from possibly winning Money in the Bank and having the title is the person that they've been giving a big push since they called her up to the main roster, which is Lyra Valkyria.
Well, all right.
And all I can say is for people that's saying that Tiffany should win and be Miss Tiffy in the Bank and make that briefcase pink. Tiffany's already a star. She doesn't need it. Dakota Kai, even if she were to win it, unless they're breaking up Damage Control, I don't see a reason for her to be the one to win the briefcase.
No, they're not. They're not going to pull her out.
They're not going to pull her out. I mean, they have her there to be the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
But overall, tonight was quite an insane show. Where basically the show before the pre-show of Heatwave happening in a week. Oh my goodness gracious.
They could not let you forget it every 5 seconds.
It's like living in a tourist town and seeing signs for the most popular attractions that they have and saying, go over here. You'll have fun. And then you'll have fun for a bit and then you realize it's not worth it because everything's too expensive and there's too many long lines.
There's always that secret bar, guys. There's always that secret bar.
Hole in the wall.
Mm-hmm. You know, you may need a special knock, but
all I can say is for those that want Tiffany to win Money in the Bank, I cannot wait to see the fan art that people make with her briefcase being pink and for it to say Tiffy in the Bank. Or Miss Tiffy Princess in the Bank, since she likes to call herself Princess of the Ring with Nia Jax, which I think is another reason why she might not win, because she's already teaming herself up with Nia Jax to be with one of the most intimidating women that they have in the main roster right now, who has been having a fantastic second run.
Well, all right.
So that is our show for tonight. We thank everybody for giving a watch and hearing us go on about everything that happens in NXT. And with a little bit of a surprise visit from the executive consultant, and for everybody to watch him drool over Jakara Jackson for 20 minutes straight, essentially, like he always does. I was talking to her about it earlier. This is why I want to work with more women, because it's nice to look at some of the eye candy that's there. We don't need to talk about it for longer than 5 minutes. Listen, I might like Wes Lee and I might like how he looks. Doesn't mean I'm going to talk about it for 15 minutes on camera. I'll gladly talk about it off camera. But
we have off-camera talks too. That's a different level, though.
Exactly. So speaking of camera, we have Monday nights with the Mike Knox show for the intelligent wrestling fan. Then you got Monday Night Raw watch-alongs with Freckle Sensei and the executive consultants, or Evil Dose. Then you have NXT Review on Tuesdays with me and Badguy and the Great Grandstand Puba. We got AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays with Cactus Katie, Vinny, and Dan. And then on Saturdays from noon or 1, we have Friday Night SmackDown reviews with Zia Silent and Vic. We don't review Collision anymore, so that one is not on our radar to review here, but it's always nice to watch and see if that helps with any storylines that are on the AEW Dynamite shows. Thank you, Dice Man.
Yay. Well,
Any
thank
words?
you for having me.
Well, of course. Any words to the lovely people? Anywhere that they can follow you on social media and such if they would like to?
Yes, on Instagram, I now have a page, Cactus Katie, and you can follow me there. I'm friends with Unpopular Review, so you can like them as well. But check us out tomorrow for the AEW Dynamite review. I'll be there. So,
and of course, like I plugged earlier, because I have no shame, which I will plug my product out because I enjoy what I do. You can follow me on YouTube as the Unofficial Camera Woman, where, like I said, I go throughout Central Florida, occasionally South Florida, record wrestling matches at independent companies and such, if they'll allow it, and put it up online where you can see former and or current AEW and or WWE superstars out in the scene, doing their thing, having the freedom to do what they want and make their money. And who knows what shows I'll be in the future and what matches I'll put up and who will pop up again.
woo! Well,
so we thank you everybody
again
for watching.
Yes, everybody.
And be on the lookout for everything that we put out. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be updated whenever we do post on here. And not just us, the entertainment side as well. I'm not sure what they reviewed this week, if they have or if they haven't yet. Be on the lookout.
All right. Good night, guys.